Hey, plein air painters. Well, if your painting is off and you're not happy with it, it could be that your drawing is off, or that no one has really ever taught you how to draw with a brush, or you haven't put enough thought or effort or time into your drawing and you just start painting. Hey everybody, this is Terry with Learning Plein Air. We help beginner plein air painters learn how to make beautiful paintings.
Okay, here's a quick view of the landscape we're going to be painting, and in a minute I'll show you how I reduce the complex landscape down into about 3 or 4 larger pieces. Right now I'm going to show you how I put on the wash. You can use whatever color you want. This time I used a purplish color, just a thin mixture of odorless terpenoid and a little bit of paint, just so you're not starting on a blank white canvas. Sometimes the wash does show through, so that choice can affect your painting sometimes. Many times it doesn't for me. I paint so thick, but I'm just putting it on very quickly just to cover up the canvas, and in a second here I'll show you I really take the drippings off, the wet part off with a paper towel. And then next we're going to start the drawing stage, which is stage 1 of 4 in my painting process. We're just going to take I think a number 4 filbert, just a smaller brush with some darker paint, and we're going to start the drawing, and I'm just breaking down the complex landscape into 3 to 5 larger pieces. So in this particular painting, one piece is the far off mountain range. Another piece is the juniper bushes or pinyon bushes that are very close to me, kind of in the foreground, midground. And another piece would be the very foreground or the close kind of desert landscape with the pinyon bushes and just the sand and the dirt and stuff. So here I'm just blocking in the first piece, the mountains, as you can see. Again, just really quickly to get a roadmap so that I know how to start my painting. I'm kind of building my composition, which is really up to you. This is the second piece right here that I'm working on. It doesn't look like it, but this is a group of bushes, pinyon bushes. But you can't be painting every single little leaf. So I count that as one big piece, a bunch of pinyon bushes. I'm just using a mixture of, I think, ultramarine blue and maybe some alizarin crimson so that I can see it on the canvas. So that's my second piece. The third piece is right here in the foreground closest to me. And it's just a bunch of bushes. It's some desert landscape.
All right, we're going to get going here in what I call the abstract stage of the painting, stage 2. And we always start with our darkest dark. So here I'm using a kind of a mixture that's a greenish tone, picking up on my darkest dark from my drawing. And always starting there because it keys the painting. I can tell all my colors more accurately when you start with your darkest dark and your shadows. So I'm just going to show you how I do that now. Get a little alizarin crimson in there with some ultramarine blue for the shadows on these little kind of desert bushes right here. Junipers is really what they are. And this is all shadow. I lay out all my shadows first, and I start with the darkest dark right there, which is right there in those juniper trees, evergreen trees. Closest to me, darkest in value. I want to show perspective. Okay, I'm going to show you how I get this mountain color, the distant mountains in. Let's get that right away before the light changes. A little bit of titanium white. And if I'm looking at it, it's off in the distance. I'm going to go with a little cobalt blue. A little alizarin crimson. Not too much, just kind of a purplish color. And I'm going to add in a little bit of gray mixture that I had from a just kind of my gray mess, as it is kind of a purplish bluish gray color. Doesn't have to make sense really in your brain. Just mix it. Go with your instinct. It tends to be on the side of a blue, a bluish purplish. I look at it real quick and then I look away. I look at surrounding pieces next to it to try to help me judge the correct value, the correct temperature. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna try to keep my shadows in place here. I'll show you how I'm mixing this here. I'm gonna go with a little more ultramarine on this, ultramarine blue. And then one thing you can do is you can just test it, you see? Just test it right on your canvas. Just see if you like that. For me, that's a little too dark, so I'm going to add some titanium white. A little more ultramarine to get it on the side of the bluish color. Yep, I like that. Okay. Back to the number 12 brush. Go with a little bit of cerulean blue, titanium white, just a dab of permanent rose to kind of catch that purplish sky color. A little more titanium white. There's some clouds, so I wanted to kind of denote those and leave room for those, paint around them. I'll show you how I do that in a second. But I just want to get that kind of that original sky color in. Millie, what are you doing? Get out of there. Hey. Dog's digging in the bushes. What are you doing? What the heck did you get into? Go lay down. Okay, I'm just going to get the basic shapes of the clouds in now. Just trying to really cover up the canvas quickly, not worrying too much about detail in this phase. I'm just trying to get the right color in the right place. The right value, the right temperature. Is it warm? Is it cool? Is it dark? Is it light? Okay, we're going to work on these juniper bush tree colors now. Still blocking in, still really in the abstract phase. Kind of a greenish mixture here. And what we're doing is we're getting the light pieces of piece number 2 here in my drawing phase. So I just paint, when the sun's out, you paint in terms of light and shadow pieces. I'm not trying to paint a bush. I mean, I am, but I'm not. I don't want to think of it like that. I want to think of it in terms of the right color in the right place. Okay, so the light is in this painting is coming from here, from the right side. So I have to be mindful of that with all of my shadows. That's why I've got shadows here, and I lost a little bit of these shadows up here, you can see, but that's okay. I kind of, it's just a roadmap, you know, it doesn't need to be exact, and I can still follow it. So the light is going to be hitting the trees at a certain angle. So I want to capture that. A little bit of phthalo green, just to kind of green parts of it up, just to again, look how quickly I'm going. Look at the big strokes that I'm using. I'm not drawing every little single pine needle. You can see already that it's starting to kind of take some shape. It's just all about getting the right color in the right place. And I'm going to lighten up piece number 3 in my drawing, which is the foreground. Just a little bit of cad yellow mixture. Okay, moving along. Just gonna keep painting here the evergreen juniper trees, adding a little more touch of green and yellow to it to bring out the right colors. Again, just still painting light and shadow. Painting in the light right now. Got this greenish mixture going on. Need a little bit more yellow in there. Okay. Foreground, I'm just seeing a little more orangish colors in this kind of high desert, sandy, dry landscape. So I'm just going to try to denote that. It's bringing the colors together a little bit better. Okay, I'll show you how I use the palette knife here a little bit in this tree area. Just a little bit thicker paint, a little bit more variety of technique to kind of denote some of these treetops. I want to try to create interest where the shadow meets the light, right here. Where this piece meets the lighter mountain off in the distance, because it will create interest with the eye and help me with my perspective. Birds are chirping. It's a beautiful day. I've had a lot of wildfires in Colorado as of late. It's been terrible. One of the worst wildfire seasons ever. So I haven't been able to paint because the atmosphere has been all smoky. The air quality's been horrible. So this is really the first day where it's still not great, but definitely want to get out and paint. Just going to show you some of these closer brush strokes up close so you can see. Again, I'm in the abstract stage. I'm really just trying to find the colors. And it's a search. It's like a puzzle. Kind of go back and forth. I'm constantly comparing like color to like color, greens to greens, reds to reds, purples to purples, blues to blues, the shapes next to it. Just looking and searching for the right color. Hopefully by the end, it all comes together. Okay, I'm going to work a little bit on the clouds up here. I'm losing the light. It's behind the clouds now, but it's no reason to really panic. It's going to happen when you're plein air painting. These clouds are kind of a lighter, they've got an orangish tint to them, and I'm going to go thick. Impressionistic clouds. Kind of in a hurry. I just want to capture it. The light's changing fast, and that happens. Pretty common with plein air painting. Okay, I'm going to show you a little trick that I learned. Not really a trick, it's a technique. This piece of the mountain right here is a little bit too dark for me, so I'm going to try to lighten it up. And it was just getting too busy, you know. Sometimes you can get kind of lost in the details, lost in the sauce, and sometimes what happens is it doesn't seem to make sense. So if you want to backtrack a little bit and find your colors again, what you can do is you can just take a big number 12 brush like this, and you can see how I've already done it in here. You see? You can kind of get rid of those details by just taking your brush and making some broad brush strokes. And you just leave that little happy little accident like that there. You see? There. So what I've done is I've lightened up that piece. Can you see? And there is light. There is light on that. I can't really show you right now unless I stop the camera. My battery's running kind of low, so I had to leave you there for a bit, but now it's got a little bit, it makes more sense, a little bit more harmony. I'll show you some of these brush strokes on the trees while you were gone. I was recharging my battery. Just catching the light and the shadow. Real fun. All right. We got to press toward finish here, people. So I asked myself, what am I missing? At the very end, You look for the darkest darks, the lightest lights, and any accents. Millie, come here. Come here, girl. That dog run off. Millie, come. Come here. Come here, girl. Come here, Millie. That a girl. That a girl, meow meow. Just painting up on my house today. Luckily my house has views of large mountains. Like I said, it's been smoky in the wildfire, so I haven't been able to venture too far this week, but the air quality is getting better. Alright, I'm just going to touch up these shadows in the juniper bushes. So I'm just mixing a little alizarin crimson, cobalt blue. I'm going to go with some of this lighter color. A little brown, a little green, a little more cobalt blue. Needs to go a little darker. Needs to have a little green color in it. A little ultramarine. Okay, let's try it. Okay, so we're just putting the finishing touches on this painting. Gotta call it done. Time's up. The light has disappeared. The scene has changed. A lot of action in the sky today. Kind of fun. Grab the palette knife and just kind of get a couple more dark treetops here to contrast with the lighter mountains off in the distance. You can see I caught a little bit more light on the mountains. You know, artistic license to the light has been changing so quickly and so rapidly, so it's really up to you as to what you want to do with it. But I kind of stuck true to the scene today, what I saw. I like it. I like how it turned out. Okay, just our final little touch-ups on this painting, and we're going to call it done. I got my palette knife with a little bit of green and titanium white mixture on it. A little bit of cerulean blue in there for kind of this these sagebrush, these junipers. This really pretty whitish, greenish, teal color to them here in the high desert. It's all right. Get the camera there so you can see it. Final marks of the painting. What a day. It's awesome. Okay. Let's call it done. I'll show you a little close up here, some brush strokes. Just a little quick 8x10. I usually paint a lot larger, but I was just wanting to get kind of in and out today and do a quick one. I like how it turned out. The colors are fun, beautiful scenery, distant mountains with kind of that light play off of it. There's the messy palette. Colors. My colors are similar to other artists. I guess everybody has their own special palette, but cad yellow medium, cad yellow orange, cad red, alizarin crimson, permanent rose, yellow ochre. We've got a phthalo blue and some black in here. Ultramarine blue, cobalt blue, cerulean blue, phthalo green, and a cad yellow light, titanium white, and I use a little gel. Sorry, I'll show you a picture of it. I kind of used to use copal a pretty toxic medium, but I switched to gambling, solvent-free gel, a little bit healthier. All right, hey, thanks for joining me on that painting. Extremely fun. This is Terry with Learning Plein Air. If you like these little painting sessions and you're a beginner plein air painter, consider subscribing to the channel. Watch a lot of videos. Join us here. We're specifically dedicated to helping you become a better plein air painter and make beautiful paintings as you begin your plein air journey. All right, we'll see you on the next one. See you up in the mountains.